this week. I think if we act on it next first week of the May meeting, because Sally's gonna be with us until the end of
This year.
So,
I have nothing against her as a candidate, but I need it on paper. So we just, 2 years from now, somebody says, I applied for that position and I never got a call, nothing. Oh, what'd she do? We just pulled her out of the air, put her in there, I'm not doing that. If she's interested, write a letter of interest, send it over. I have no problem with her, I think she's very capable of doing it, but I think
Courtney,
we have
do
to
you,
cover the bases, right?
can you give her a call? I'll give you her phone number.
Yeah, I don't have her number.
I'll give it to you.
So my motion dies for lack of a second then.
Ma'am, it's not even on the agenda.
I'm sorry.
It's not even on the agenda.
Well, it should have been on the agenda, Doug. That, was my mistake. We talked about that when we were making the agenda up and, it wasn't put on.
You guys stop at the soccer fields and look at that fence. I was asking if we could put a 4-foot fence on. Remember I talked about it the last meeting, you said bring it up Tuesday meeting.
Can we take the bigger fence and put it around the pear tree?
It's a good idea, yes I will.
Don't want everyone eating the pears.
Just wanted to know if we could put the 4-foot fence. Okay.
Do what you think's right.
Bill, you all right with that?
I'm sorry?
Are you all right with the 4-foot fence?
Yep.
Rex? You all right with moving that fence?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Do you have a price on it?
Well, then we'll go back,
$600.
we'll go back to the, audience. Anybody have any questions, sir?
Jack Bessie, 381 Durst Drive. Last month I had brought up the subject of left turn lanes at Champion, 305 on 45, and I thought you said you would talk to ODOT about that. Has there been any activity?
I said I would talk to ODOT on that.
That's what I heard, yes.
I don't remember me saying I would talk to ODOT on that.
Okay. What do we do to see if that's feasible or not?
This is the way knowing the way ODOT works. As we all know, they widened it from the bypass up, just 200 feet north of State Road. And at that time, they said, in the future, given, traffic count, they would probably need to widen it further north beyond 305. I really don't see ODOT coming in and constructing turning lanes at that location without starting where they left off and widening all the way out. Just looking at it, there's gonna be a big issue with space. You're gonna take away, if you put a turning lane to the east on 305, you're gonna be taking away, Sparkle parking lot.
5 feet.
It's easy for you to say. The guy that owns Sparkle might have a problem with that.
There's nothing on that corner but trees.
Well, but I'm just saying, I've been to enough,
Oh.
I've been to enough public meetings where I know it's gonna be an issue. You know, it was an issue when they widened it down here, on Mahoning Avenue by Speedway, take a look at Napa parking lot.
They don't have easements?
They have absolutely no parking.
They do.
There's an easement probably there for that, isn't there?
They have, a lot of times they have to purchase property for that kind of project.
The easement at the Champion Beach Bar, is that what it's called, is actually clear up onto their porch now because Mahoning Avenue has been widened.
Certainly would make traffic move better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, I'm not arguing, I
Yeah,
I think you're right.
I got backed up to Shorton's house, took me 3 light cycles to get through, and when I came through, traffic was backed up to Edwards on the north side.
Yeah.
So it's a problem.
You're going south.
And you guys had talked about people cutting through behind
That's exactly what I
Charlie
do.
Banks' place, so.
You know, and if you do a turning lane on the bank side,
5 feet.
his used car lot's gone. And as the first, when we're initially displaying his autos, I mean, he's way back now. And he has that existing building there too, used car building.
Okay, so, but we're not gonna,
I'll call them. I know people know them. I'll call them. I'll see what they say, but I just.
I realize it's gonna mess up their traffic, the crosswalk stuff.
Might have to take those out.
Maybe we can get a rebate. on those or something.
They get anything out of me supporting that.
Okay, I got one more. Jack Bessie, 381 Durst Drive. I get the feeling that we're not going by BBS's original plan on, the BBS's
But the way you
bedroom.
did that.
BBS.
Yeah.
It's Baker, Bednar, and Snyder.
Yeah,
Instead of
BBS.
saying
Got
it.
We've changed a little bit on their original plan.
No,
No?
change.
We've changed a lot, okay. My question is would it be possible to maybe list what it is that I understand from tonight, we're gonna leave the soccer fields now on the west side of 45 where they are, is that the plan?
For the time being, I think that's going to be the plan.
My plan. I'm in
Okay.
favor of that.
So they're not gonna get their additional fields that they want?
Not at this time, not this year,
Okay.
yeah. So, I think what Rex is saying is,
You know,
and what Bill is that, and I think we had some people in the crowd last meeting that also kind of believe the same thing, Jason, and that spending the $250,000 to try to get a start on the park out here, in essence, gives the citizens of this township nothing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that
So-
because I want to park, I'm just saying, what is we're gonna have the administration building, right? That's part of the plan.
No. Not at this time.
we don't have funds for
Not until we can
administration.
find grants to do that, which we are, of course, actively pursuing. You're not gonna have a fire station, you're not gonna have an administration building, you're gonna have a couple pickleball courts. And an
Is there a
upgraded-
long-range
Wow.
plan?
Yeah, we have
That's
a
the long-range
comprehensive
plan
plan
right there.
and, you know, this here, BBS's plan outlined a number
Thank
of
you so much for that.
scenarios.
Right.
But they felt that this land here was the best land for the purpose of what the township, would benefit. You
For
know,
the
they
fire
looked at, they
administration.
looked at the old school property on Alva, they looked
Understand.
at the central school property, there was a couple others, I'd have to look. There was a couple other areas that they looked at, and, you know, I would like this community to see get a really nice park, there's no question, but we're just not in a position to do
I
that.
understand that, all I'm asking is, what are we gonna do? That's all.
Well, we're looking at least, improving the playing fields. There's talk of a pickleball court or two, and, some better parking down there.
And all the ARP money is going for that and other things.
No, we still have money, remaining,
We
even
would
with the.
spend it by a certain time though?
We have to have, projects complete by, December of 26.
Is there a visual?
No, there's a lot of visuals. Visual of
Didn't
what?
Vanessa drop a copy of the comprehensive plan off to you? I thought you had requested one at the meeting and she
Yes.
brought it over, okay.
Yeah, but that's not what we're doing, right? We're doing.
In the
other-
comprehensive plan, it outlines the direction and vision of the township. This plan from BBS would,
You like that, don't you?
tweak that. Yeah, I do. It's, hey, listen. Tweak that and perfected it a little bit more. Okay.
Well, I'm confused. If we don't have, oh, Sheila Desi, maybe. We need a police department.
Yes?
We need a a fire station. We need an administration building.
Yeah, I would say.
To me, that's the first thing, to provide those services for your community.
You need a road department.
A park is nice, soccer is a big issue here because that's the only thing the kids got. So I think those are the things, we put the necessities first and then the fluff later. Parks are nice, but if we don't have a department.
It's a shame that a community the size of Champion and the pride within this community, that our administration building is a 15 by 15 cubicle down there on 305. And our fire station is constructed in the early 1940s. It's really outdated.
Well, how
And
is
you
it
look
we
at
can't
community,
update?
wait a minute, you look at communities like Bristol, and they have an absolute Taj Mahal of a fire station. Huh?
Oh, grants.
Well, But,
We
does it
didn't
make
qualify for
sense?
that
Now,
grant.
maybe you can explain this to me. Does it make sense?
Yes.
A community such as Champion, with 2,500 calls a year, with 6 full-time firemen, and they get to Taj Mahal?
We
Does
didn't
that make
qualify
sense?
for that grant.
Right, right.
We didn't qualify, period, I know, we did not qualify for it. Nor did we qualify for the fire truck that we had to buy, but the surrounding departments all got fire trucks. So, our problem has always been that we've been monetarily, or residents have out-earned, and we've had a higher number of residents than some of these places like Bristolville. So when you look at Bristolville, they were more poverty-stricken, and they had fewer residents, which means that they could not afford to do these projects on their own, and I think that's always been a lot of why we get kicked to the curb, because they look at us and say, well, that township has money. The township doesn't, but the residents do. So if they really wanted a fire station, they would go ask their residents for a bond issue or for a levy. And, that's truly, to answer your question, the problem is that the trustees that have sat in these chairs before us, my father being one of them, so I'm not protecting him either, have always taken a back seat to the school. So the school has always come first in this community, and anyone that's lived here a long time knows that we have a good school system, and the townships are proud of it. So when you look at something and everyone says, well, the school needs 4 mills, can we squeak that fire department by with a $0.25 mil? Okay, let's do that. So they squeak the fire department by in a $0.25 mil, the school gets 4 mills. And that's what's always happened here. So, I talked to Rex about this not long ago and said, it's not up to us as trustees to decide whether you get a new fire station. It's not up to us as trustees to decide whether you have 2 officers in a police department or 22. Nor is it up to us as township trustees to tell you that you can't have 4 paramedics on a shift. It comes down to what you want to pay. If you guys don't mind paying an additional 3 mills, get a new fire station. You don't mind paying 2 mills, we'll give you a park. You don't mind paying an additional 3 mills, we'll put 3 cops on a duty and you'll all drive brand new cars. That's what it comes down to. So the trustees have always, over the years, I've always paid attention to that game, and it's always been trustees running for re-election saying, I didn't raise your taxes, but he didn't further your services either.
Right.
Didn't further your services. Back in the day, I was at a trustee meeting where the ceiling in the administration building, which was also the meeting room back then, was dripping into a bucket. And a trustee sat in a chair and said, see that? We don't squander your tax dollars.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
You did squander the tax dollars because you didn't put a roof on the building.
How do we
Fix it.
fix that?
You're gonna have a say in it here real quick, because this board needs to make some decisions. I gotta tell you, I will push. If I get my way, you're gonna see 2 more levies on in November, 1 for the police and 1 for fire. Then you people have to figure out whether you wanna continue your medic services or whether you want to close down like MedStar just did in Warren. They just lost the ambulance service down there. You know, that was a private run company. And MedStar been around for a long time, and Champion family started that company, and they were a great company.
I maintain there's nothing wrong with putting a levy on the ballot, because, again, us three, you know, we could vote yes for it all, and we're not gonna be the determining factor that levy passes.
That's right.
It's up to the residents
Up
of
to the
Champion.
residents.
And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
You know, everyone comes and says they want their road paved, that's fine. We'll put a 3 mil, road levy improvement on. 3 more mills, we'll triple up the paving, quadruple the paving that we're doing every year right now, because it gives us more money, but everybody's always taken a back seat to the school, and I'm not kicking the school around by any means, but that's what's always happened, you know, so the school was, you know, when they decided that the central building had to go, they also said that the junior high school had to go at the same time. Why do you think they did that?
Get all the money.
Because they knew if they asked for money for one, that the junior high school building would be following in the footsteps of the central building, and nobody's gonna give them more money to do it again. So they went one time and they did what they needed to do, and they got what they needed, because the people of the township have been generous with projects like that. Champion Township trustees have never asked the public, would you like to pay a couple mills and get a new administration building? Would you like to pay a couple mills and get the equipment that your tax dollars pay for your road department in out of the weather, so we can get double time out of that, instead of parking a $60,000 machine outside and letting it rust away, because we can't protect our equipment. And, it's up to you guys, you know, it's our job to put it on the ballots. That's where we're at. So you're going to hear some numbers in the very near future that are gonna come from our department heads about what they think they need. And we will have some discussions. But the fire levy, or was it police levy? Which one we just do, fire, wasn't it?
Please.
Police? No, the one before that was an additional levy. Was it police?
Police was a replacement, and the one
0.95.
prior was fire additional.
0.95 was fire, right?
Oh my goodness, yep.
So we did, and this will blow your mind, we wanted a 1 mil levy for the fire department. Explaining to people at the time, this is nothing more than a Band-Aid, so we need a mill. In the community, certain people in the community lost their minds, and they complained that a mill was too much, so we backed it down to keep it under a mill, to 0.95. To keep it under a mill, because, well,
Change.
okay, all right, if it makes you happy, we'll back it down to 0.95. Okay, that's good, Doug, then do that. So we did, we backed it down, and you know, it's crazy, but it's true. So that's where we're at, that's why we're sitting in the school building right now. I don't know if you've been in the administration building lately, but we couldn't have a meeting in there if we had to.
You mean the garage?
That's right, sitting in a grease pit, right? I mean,
Been there, done that.
yeah, because Sean doesn't scrub the floor.
Oh, that's all right.
It looked pretty good the other day on his day off.
Well,
We're here to help.
so, those are the things that bring the township, so you're right, parks are great, and I understand that there's a part of our community that wants to see parks. There's also a part of our community that doesn't care, just doesn't care about parks, not interested in parks. But once again, that's not any of the three of our decision to make.
You know, so many people in this community don't realize what percentage of their total tax bill goes to the township. And
That should
if
be
they
broken
would-
down
if
and
they would
publicized.
know, I think it would be
Shocking.
an eye-opener.
It's shocking.
The level of service we provide for the amount of tax we get out of their total tax bill should open up everybody's eyes.
It's a bargain.
Yeah.
My neighbor's daughter, grandniece, works here in Champion summer. She says, We never shut down. The roads are always clear at Champion.
It's
We never
roughly-
get a snow day.
Roughly $150, $170 out of $1,000 tax bill goes to the township.
How much was it?
$150 to $170 out of $1,000 goes to the township.
Well, I hear people in Howland, you know, you pay more taxes than we do in Howland. It's like,
They also have a lot more industry than us.
They got a lot of business.
yeah.
You know, they have more residents than us, and they have more industry than us. In industry, you know, people will fight that. You know, as we talked about, coaching some businesses in the town here, it was met with opposition, you know, and, that's some of the other problems here. We rely on the residents to pay 100% of our bill, you know?
Mhm.
Get a little bit of industry in here, you know, they really don't pull from your resources either, they're just paying. You know, every now and then you may have an ambulance run in there, you may have a, you know, a police call in there or something, but overall, they're not drawing from the community, they're employing in your community, bringing people in. And, they have you know, those buildings, some of them $8-10 million facility, you know, you're paying on your home. Do the math on what those buildings are paying. You know, some of our other larger buildings in town are on tax abatement, so we don't collect much, you know, problems. But, that's the difference between us and Howland is, you know, if you look at some of the stuff Howland has, the Golden Triangle's a good example of Howland. You know, they have a medical complex on 46 there, surgery centers and stuff like that. Those are huge taxpayers, you know. They have some of the same draws as we do with nursing homes, a Shepherd and them that constantly running ambulances into. So if those types of businesses locate, they pay taxes, but they're expensive for us to maintain at the same time, you know, so. But that's in a nutshell. So yeah, you're gonna hear some numbers soon, and it's gonna upset people, and people are gonna be screaming and.
Just end with this question, you might answer it, but should we hire a consulting firm to tell you how to approach the communities to sell this?
No, I don't think we need that at this time. But we are such slow growth that, you know.
I'd tell you the truth, I don't know, just sitting here thinking, I don't know if the board of trustees can hire a firm to promote passage of the levy.
Word of mouth. You know, our residents have been good. They support our police department. They support our road department. They support our fire department. But it's gonna be shocking to people. Yeah, and I guess we have so many people in the community who don't pay attention to it. So when you run into people and you tell them, and they see things and hear things like Thanksgiving, we had one crew on the fire station. People are like, how are you doing that with one crew? Yeah. They're killing themselves. That's why we can't hire people either, you know. It scares people, you know. What do you get? How many guys are there? Well, 2 or 3. That's it. Well, that's it. So what if the ambulance is out, my house catches on fire? Yeah. Well, one guy's gonna wait for somebody to come. They'll come start, but we're gonna have to rely on other townships to come back. That's not what's always been with fires, but. Let's see.
Well, people live their day-to-day lives, don't think about
Pay
this stuff
attention.
until it affects them, and then they become aware.
And then they get mad and they get real involved for about 60 days and they go away. Oh, all right.
Any other public comment? Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
We're in executive.
What's that?
I got one quick, John, after your meeting tomorrow, make sure we keep on that so that we can get that addressed as expediently as possible.
Yes,
Okay?
and we'll have it right after our meeting tomorrow night, you ought to have it next day, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah, they advertised that today, John.
Yeah, well, I came tonight because the paper said, the trustees are having a meeting at 6:30, the zoning board's having a meeting at 6:30 here. So I came especially to see who won out.
Arm
So we're doing an executive, talk about-
No, that, I just put that on just in case we, thought we needed one, but I don't think we need one, do we?
Talk about any of the police stuff.
Good job.
Yeah, we can just enter briefly.
All right, we're going to, take a 5-minute recess and then go into executive session for, I need a motion.